Hey everybody, it's Mark Masters. It's Always Bookin Comedy. Every Monday night, 6:30 Colorado time. I'm in Las Vegas and got kind of a unfortunate visual thing going on. I cut myself shaving today, so I can hide it if I go like this. But then you're seeing the receding hairline, so it's like I can hide the receding hairline, but then you got a good look at the shaving accident, and there was a burr. I'm not doing myself any favors. Anyways, live from Las Vegas. We don't have a guest right now. I don't know what's going on. I just sent an email. We'll see if anything happens. I am, but we can, I'm in Las Vegas, so we can talk about things. Who wants to see a pyramid, huh? Let's see. Can you see a pyramid out there? Yeah, you can see a pyramid. Don't be jealous, everybody. I am staying at the five. I don't think it's star, but five something Excalibur Hotel and Casino, which I have not been at in 20 years. It wasn't exactly terrific 20 years ago, but it's actually, I'm kind of surprised how nice it is. I I upgraded my room, upgraded 2 nights, $10 to get upgraded to a fancier room, and I'm in the second to top floor, king suite, whatever you want to call it. It's very nice, soft close toilet lid. How cool is that? All right, we got our guest here, Brandie. How we doing? We got some comments online. North Carolina chipping in. I did not know that. I'll have to go. I've been very hungry for some reason. I went for a run in Colorado before I flew out here. Anyways, Brandie, I don't know you at all. So nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too. You too. How are you?
I'm outstanding. I'm having a great day, great night, whatever time it is. And I'm just gonna give you a last name here. There we go.
Oh yeah, Posey, pop it on there.
What a cool little studio you got going on there. A little bit of art.
Thank you.
Is that a cat right over your head?
So that cat actually got a fun story about that. Who's the guy that tried to kill Ronald Reagan? John Hinckley Jr. Since he got out, he's been really into painting cats, and they sell for a lot of money on eBay. So I can't afford them, but I did get one of his printed on canvas so I can have it in my house. For $20, you can get a Hinckley original.
Okay, that is wow, quite the story. So we're a fan. Are you gonna have a Luigi original artwork somewhere near there? We're into the Assassins.
I was given a Luigi prayer candle that's in the other room, actually.
Okay, amazing.
For Christmas, yeah.
So we just got a whole diorama of murder here. Great.
Well, you know.
Don't open Brandie's refrigerator. There's some Dahmer stuff in there. Awesome. Well, happy Monday to you.
You as well.
You're a very special guest. We've done almost 100 episodes of this. We've never talked to anybody with so much experience with comedy albums.
Oh, cool.
So I don't really want to dilly-dally too much. Let's talk about like what's going on. How did you get into doing comedy albums? What are comedy albums? I think they're around now, or maybe they're online. I don't know. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I started a comedy record label. It's called Burn This Record. You can find us on Instagram 2 years ago, because I've self-released all of my own work up until that point, basically, because most comedy labels, I think they have a deal that if you have a DIY spirit, like making a comedy album really is not that much work. So to give away half of that to somebody else had never made sense to me. I'm pretty organized.
So that's the traditional. I'm really explain like I'm 5 here. I don't know a lot about this. So you've put out albums in the past, and you had to give up half of.
No, I knew that was the deal. I just never took it. I was not interested. I was like, well, I'd rather bet on myself and make 100% of it, which is good because my first album is like paid my rent for 9 years. So, because when you put out an album, like there's a few different places that it can go. Obviously, there's like all the streaming sites. It's also available for sale on iTunes or Amazon or Bandcamp. But the main goal is to try to get your work onto SiriusXM, because when spins on satellite radio just count a lot more than anything else. Every time a track spins on SiriusXM, it's worth about $40 total.
Whoa.
Yeah. So it's much higher than the 0.00035 cents you get for Spotify.
Amazing. Do you?
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: what was your first album called?
It's called Opinion Cave.
Okay, Opinion Cave. So
Mhm.
you self-release Opinion Cave.
Mhm.
What year is this roughly?
This 2016, February
Okay, so
2016.
we're well past cassette tapes. Did you get CDs?
I actually put it out on cassette.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
Okay.
I actually.
Did you burn
Mhm.
them yourself? Not burn, but like record with the button? Or did you
No. I got like a company in Canada that I like knew somebody that worked there. I just made a bunch of them that way, but I had like download cards inside of it, so you could get like your own
nice.
copy
And
that
then
way too. Yeah.
and I assume you're performing all over the place.
Mhm.
You would sell them as
Oh
merch?
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Would you say that was a significant in the pie chart of how you did with that Opinion Cave investment? Was that a big chunk
I
of the
wouldn't say
revenue?
a big chunk. I can actually tell you. I can tell you exactly how much it was.
Okay. Let's
Give
hear
me
it.
one.
I love numbers.
Give me 1 second to pull up.
How
Where are
exciting.
we? Opinion Cave. I've been a freelance bookkeeper in the past, so I have pristine records on most of my stuff. Okay, let's see. Opinion Cave. Physical in real life sales is made about $5,000 of just
Wow.
selling the copies,
That's big
um,
money.
which is probably all told. That's only honestly only about like I can't do that percentage off the top of my head, but not it's
Not big.
it's good, but it's not great. I mean, it's
You
Sirius
got other
XM.
bigger pieces of pie.
Sirius XM has been like the big one. Yeah. Mhm.
Nice.
Yeah.
Incredible. How long were you into comedy when you recorded this? And where did you record it and
Um,
how did you record it?
yeah, I've been doing comedy for about 8 years. Um, I'm from Maryland originally. I started in Los Angeles. I recorded it out here in Ventura. Basically, also too, I had a few jokes in the album. My mom passed away 12 years ago, and I had a few jokes in that album that I was like, these are about that. And there was an emotional uh, time. There's an emotional clock on how long I want to tell these for. So that
Sure.
kind of made this like, okay, I'm proud of these. I want to put them down on an album. I've got the hour. Let's like, it coincided with me um, being a part of a department that got shut down at a job I was at. So I got to go on unemployment and just like toured the country for a year, basically honing the album. And then I came back and I recorded it here in LA at a comic book shop that was called Hypno Comics up in Ventura.
Cool.
Yeah, a place I performed at a lot, loved it, and I mean, did it in front of probably like 45 people or something like that. Um, and it was just out of the city, so like people that really wanted to be there could go there, but then I had a lot of people that didn't know me there either, which is a nice mix for a first album, I thought. And then a friend of mine that is a tour manager, he works in music. He had recorded it for me and then mixed it for me and everything.
Okay. Do you remember how many mics there were or inputs?
I think probably 4 or 5, because there's you get your main mic off the board,
Yep.
and then I would probably imagine that if in that space there were 3 audience mics,
Okay.
which is all you really need.
Yeah.
If you just want those kind of spaced in a way that like you can kind of pick up, the sound of the room.
It's
So yeah.
it's incredible to me once you get to 2 audience mics and it's
Mhm.
in stereo and you're listening on a device that does stereo,
Mhm.
I mean, it sounds like you're Chris Rock,
Yeah.
like anybody, like even an open micer, like it's incredible to be able to hear like a glass drop over
Yeah.
in the right corner and somebody laugh on the left side, and it
Mhm.
sounds amazing, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it
Very
doesn't that's why it doesn't take much to like really you need a good crowd and you need a good set. And if you have just a few mics in the right spots, like you can absolutely get the album, no problem.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
now 2016 was different than 2025, right?
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
self-releasing is not the same anymore. Can you
No, it's not now, mostly because SiriusXM a few years ago they implemented a rule they're not taking any more self-submitted pieces, so you need to have a label,
Okay,
which is why I started a label because I have a lot of friends that have always put out their own work, and
sure.
basically was like, all right, well, I'll, I'll bite the bullet. LLC, I'll do it because I knew I want to do. I recorded an album last year that's coming out in a few months here, and then I'd always wanted to kind of. I like the idea of running a label, like I kind of curating
Yeah,
putting it
that's cool.
together.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I'm good at kind of like the marketing side of it and kind of like putting I love logos. I love kind of like trying to build something together. Um and yeah, just like when XM came down with that rule, I was like, all right, fine. I guess this is when I'm doing it. I always said I was waiting until my 40s, and then I started it when I was 39. So I was like, all right, well,
Pretty
jumping the
close.
gun a little bit, but we'll
So,
do it.
so what makes a label a label?
I mean, just somebody that's willing to kind of do the work in a lot of ways. Like uh for for SiriusXM, they want you to be an LLC,
Okay.
which in the state of California means you have an $800 a year fee and you have to do taxes a certain way.
Yeah.
Um, but like my responsibilities, I believe, as a label owner, are I try to when I work with somebody, I kind of say, hey, as much as I'm down for as much or as little involvement as you want in the project. You know, I just need to have the finished thing at this point, so I can get it distributed. Basically, like my main like strip it all away. My job is to get everything distributed and hopefully get it onto SiriusXM, and then to try to do what I can to help promote it. But I've also like I'm a pretty good sound editor at this point myself, and so I can kind of listen with an ear to be like, oh, okay, that's not let's we need to cut those parts or something, or like I make suggestions. Like I never do anything if people don't want to, because it's ultimately still the artist's, you know,
Mm.
their piece. But I think being able to kind of come at it from like with a comedian's ear, I think, is a helpful thing too.
Do you do video as well as sound, or are you audio only?
I'm audio only for now.
Okay.
Video is a potential in the future, but I'm like
Sure.
I want to continue establishing the brand as is now before
Right.
I start pivoting into that. Yeah.
Now, does it like dealing with Sirius,
Hmm.
do you do you have like a personal relationship with them and do they know you and they're like, oh, cool, another album from Brandy, we're gonna give this a special look? Or is it everything
Well,
goes into a big queue and
yeah, there's an email address that everybody submit all, and this is this for every label across the board. This is some of them might take like the development execs out to drinks every once in a while, but even then, they all still have to submit through one portal, and there is like a blind panel of people that listen to everything. And
okay.
SiriusXM gets between 30 and 40 albums a week of
Oh,
yeah, of people just recording. I think there's definitely some shows that just record every single show. Some comics just try to throw everything they can at the wall, but they've established themselves as labels and they have that relationship.
uh-huh.
There's some labels that are looking at like older recordings and trying to like bring in archival material that they've made deals with.
Mm,
So they get about 160 albums submitted in a month. So once you send stuff in, it does get reviewed by a panel. So you're not at, there is no algorithmic or AI or anything like listening to you. It's a real person. And then if they like what they're hearing, they're like, okay, well, there's one of several stations that things can end up on. There's Pure Comedy, which is a squeaky clean channel. That's like,
do you tell them ahead of time like this? Do you send in any kind of rating information like this
oh yeah,
PG, PG-13? Yeah.
there's a
That's
whole
metadata.
yeah, there's a whole metadata thing that you have to fill out for every album that has like keywords and like categories based on their ideas, and then like, you know, red flag things, and then all the different, you know, the rating system basically, and then some demographic information and everything. But yeah, that's kind of a whole big thing that goes in with that. And then they listen, and it takes them usually 3 to 4 months to kind of get back at this point, and they'll write back and they'll let you know if they took anything from that album or not, basically.
Okay. And is there any second chance or they won't listen to an album a second time? That's
Nope,
it.
no,
You gotta
that's it.
record a new one.
Yeah, go record something else.
Yeah. And so what's like a typical, is it either 0 or everything or 0 or a couple tracks
It's
or
between everything. Like, I mean, they took uh on Opinion Cave. So I also cut a clean version of Opinion Cave too. So on the dirty version, they took 6 tracks, and on the clean one, they took 7 tracks out of I think 13 or 14. And then on the albums I've released, they've taken upwards of 9, and then taken like two tracks from somebody too. So
okay.
it's kind of runs the gamut.
Do you need like an ISBN number for a record?
Mm-mm.
You know what I'm talking like books have
Yeah.
like a social security number and you
Oh,
have to have
yes.
one to publish it.
Yeah, in the record industry, the UPC is what the
Oh, okay.
album is, like the
All right.
album, but then each individual track has a thing called an ISRC code.
Okay.
And that's how they're able to track it and get it paid out to you,
And
basically.
And how do you get those codes? Is there like a central distributor, or do you just make them up?
Oh no, there's so you there's a couple of different ways. There's I am able to generate my own codes because I bought basically like an ID that I can use to generate them, whatever.
Okay.
But also I use DistroKid to distribute albums a lot, and DistroKid will automatically generate those as well. The ones that I make are if someone has like the public forward facing album that you can stream and buy anywhere, that is oftentimes that is cut a little bit different than what I'll send to SiriusXM, because SiriusXM likes tracks that are between 3.5 to 6.5 minutes. So I'll kind of cut stuff a little bit longer for them, and then those are kind of private ISRC codes that I generate, and then that stuff gets sent to SiriusXM. But the public facing one is it's the same exact stuff. It's just a little bit different.
So I have a kind of related question to that. I've been wanting to ask for a couple minutes, but I didn't quite know how to ask it. Like, let's say you do a show this weekend. You're not taping an album, but you got maybe a camera in the back and your phone or a Zoom recorder up front. And you're able to put together, like, you have a great clip. And you're just like, wow, that was unbelievable. That thing that happened randomly, just kind of like something you might post to social.
Yeah.
Can you ISRC it and send it in, like, absent an album?
If you have now, because of the way that things changed, you would have to do it through a label that has a contract signed with them, or
that's
yourself.
What I mean. So can Brandie do that?
You could, but they don't like. They'll prioritize people that send more quality versus people that are just sending like just stuff every single week that they are like, I don't know. But not to say that it wouldn't be good, but they mostly want if they're going to listen to something and open up the grids and everything, they really want like at least a substantial amount to be able to look through and kind of like pick from, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you find out if your clips get retired at some point, or do you just notice the checks dry up?
Well, there's a website, it's xmplaylist.com that I think that's what it is. Yeah, xmplaylist.com that you can make a login for that, and you can check to see every month how many plays you get, basically in real time. So at the end of every month, I go back and I look to see like, okay, cool, I got like 3 plays in this channel or 20 plays in that channel. And then I kind of have a log of where I keep that. And then you get paid 3 months later. So, but it's XM Playlist is very accurate. So I'll go and I'll be like, oh, okay, cool, great. I got 5 plays, and that's what I did get paid for. So you can kind of be able to project what you're expecting to get in the future.
Right, you can reconcile it. Can you see other artists, or is it specific to you? Oh, okay.
You can look up everybody. It's fun.
Neat. So you can see like what like Bill Burr might make. And like who's what is a lot of money in SiriusXM play? Is anybody making $1 million a year?
Oh, easily. Yeah.
Really?
Easily. Yeah. I think I am logged in here. Let's see what Bill Burr has done. I can tell you this right now. Bill Burr, right? And now let's look for March.
Okay.
March 1 through 31. Why are you being funky?
While you're doing that, I'll talk about something else. We don't have dead AR.
Yeah.
I'm going to be in New England, everybody. Wednesday, I fly out. I'm doing 5 shows, 4 nights. If you're in New England, come out, especially this Saturday, April 12th. I'll be at Democracy Brewing in Boston, and I have a door deal. So I want to hit that bonus. Come in Boston.
Nice.
Anyways, New England rules. I can't wait to get some lobster and have some fun. And all right, how we doing on there?
No, I got it, Bill Burr. So so Bill Burr he got 461 plays in the month of March, but I'm subtracting his Netflix radio plays, because on the Netflix is a joke radio station. The plays those are from your specials, and part of the deal on Netflix is that you don't get your SiriusXM money.
Interesting.
Interesting. So he got 315 plays overall for the month of March, and let's say that's times
12 grand.
Yeah, well, but he probably got half of that.
Good point. Okay, so 6 grand. That's 75 grand a year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's not $1 million though. Who's would be like top?
Let's see.
Somebody
Jeff
clean, like Nate
Fox.
Bargatze, maybe.
Jeff Foxworthy. Jeff Foxworthy. Whenever I type him in, it says too many track results. Please refine search or select a smaller time period. So just so you know, let's go the first week of March to see if we can get a better read on old Foxworthy there. Because there is like a station that's all kind of his own station. Still too many results. So like that's somebody that is pulling in crazy money.
Okay.
Yeah, but like Brian Regan.
Oh, there you go. That's a good one. Clean. Yeah.
Let's see what's Brian do. Brian's a too many track result guy. Clean guys make a lot of money. Clean guys are definitely making a ton of money. Oh, Gary Goldman makes a lot too. It always made me really happy. I remember when I first looked that up. Oh yeah, so the first week in March, because I changed it to that, Gary Goldman had 129 plays. So, you know. Okay.
Round it up to 150, call it 600 a month.
Mm-hmm.
A month, $6,000 times 4 is 25, call it 25 grand a month, but he gets half of that, 12 grand times 12, almost 150 grand a year. Holy cow, Gare.
Yeah.
Always talking about how poor he is on stage, Gare.
Yeah.
I see you.
That's why it's a fun website. This is why it's a fun website to play around with. You go be okay. And who maybe his managers and agents take a cut of that too, depending. Sure. But like that is the potential. Do you see why I keep all of my money?
Yeah. Is there like, can people invest in comedians? Like this seems like I could imagine, like I know a lot of degenerate comedians, and I could see somebody like selling off their future revenue stream. You know, kind of like you hear like Justin Timberlake sold his whole record collection or whatever. Can you do that? Do you know?
I don't think anybody has cared enough to ask, but I think you probably could.
That's interesting. Maybe there's not enough money to have people interested, because I assume musicians are making like 10x, 100x.
Yeah. Oh, they definitely are. Yeah. I always think of like, as big as comedy is, we are still like the tick on a dog's back in terms of popularity of audio. Sure. You know, which works for us and doesn't work for us sometimes, because like there's a lot of like you know, the musicians unions and stuff have fought for so much that has actually benefited us in lots of ways, and like that has been great. So yeah. So
okay, so let's talk about recording albums and things you've learned. How many albums have you produced at this point?
I've produced, let's see, we put out 17 albums last year. We just did our third one for this year, and then I've done 2 or 3 before that. It's probably got a little bit over 20.
Okay.
25.
Amazing. What give us like the top 5? What do you got to do? What's the biggest mistake? What's the biggest pluses when you're recording an album?
I mean, audio above all matters. I think a lot, which means that your venue matters a lot. And I think that you might hear my dog. Sorry, I have an 18-year-old dog that's like whining for dinner right now, and I'm like, no, I am
10 minutes. 10 minutes, buddy.
You're fine. He's fine. He's just he makes pathetic noises. I promise he's okay though.
Okay.
What the venue sounds like matters a lot. And I've definitely had people that like, I mean, you've probably done shows in like cavernous rooms that you're like, oh, this is a huge space, horrible audio. Do not do that for your album. A good rule of thumb I've always found is like, if you're in a space and if you can like clap and the sound doesn't like reverberate, you're probably fine. You just want like kind of a dead space is like the best kind of place to look for.
What kind of floor is your favorite floor? Do you want carpeted or do you want hard, like concrete?
I mean, carpet's ideal if you can have it, but it also doesn't, it's more like.
I never understood that, because I have a room. It's my favorite room, probably I work in, and I run a monthly show there. It's carpeted. It is magic. I don't know why it's so good. I mean, part of it is it's got low ceilings. It's got these like weird, fancy oil paintings on the wall, and people are telling dick jokes on stage. It's like incongruous. Yeah. It's like there's a lot of things that are like weird about it. But it's like I've had killer shows there. Sam Talent did a show there once. It's like 65 people. We had 90 people in there. It was nuts. But you would think that the carpet would absorb the laughter, because I have other shows like at breweries that are very hard surfaces, and with only like 12 people, you can have a pretty good show because like the laughs bounce around.
Well, you know what it is? they bounce once and then the carpet deadens it. So you're not getting this constant like crossing
Got
over.
it. Because the ceiling it's wood, so it.
Mhm. And then Seth in the chat is right, soaking up annoying noises like chair scrapes and stuff like that. It's also just like you want a room that isn't like the problem is like plain, like flat planes. Like having art on the walls is great because it breaks up the way that sound is dispersed once it hits it. You know, in a box with nothing on it, it actually makes it rough for audio. I have a lot of art in here because I think that looks better than having foam all over the place in a room that I spend a lot of time in.
Nice.
But yeah, that matters a lot. I mean, I think having somebody that knows how to truly host and also host for a taping is different than hosting for a live show. You really need to like have somebody that hits all the like, hey, cell phones off, go to the bathroom right now. My job is to keep the energy up until you are in your seat. I'm looking to make sure that all the seats in the front row are filled up. I know where the microphones are. As a host, I'm listening. Oh, there's an annoying laugher that is right where I know the microphone is. I'm going to like make that person move and I'm going to make it fun for everybody. You're kind of a producer, I think, when you're like the host of a taping.
Okay. Do you host tapings ever?
Oh yeah. I've done that. Yeah, a bunch. Yeah. I've done that. Let's see what else is important. I think sometimes comedians feel like they need to have their whole set in their head, and I think especially for a recording, if you need them, have notes on stage, especially if you have like new tags. I also find that like throw one or two new things you're working on into the recording because that will keep you present, especially with material that is you've worked out and it's like honed and it's ready to go. You know, you can have like a tendency to kind of just your mind ravels because you know how to do this.
You're doing your taxes in your head.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, no, okay, I need to actually like be in the moment. So I think having a few news things or a few new
tags.
A good one. Yeah, and you can always pull that stuff out because it's
right. You can edit it out.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Is there anything about like being quiet at the end of a big punchline so that like that's where an edit's going to happen? Like if you start a new joke too quickly, it makes it hard to edit it.
I mean, you never want to step on your laughs. And I think that like just in general, and I think that's just a good habit to be into, which I think Zoom shows during COVID actually made me very bad at that because you kind of were trying to keep the energy up of like online. It took me a little bit of like when things opened up again to be like, oh, let the audience laugh and give them that moment so you could take a step back to hit the next thing. Like every time I've recorded, I put at the top of my recording, I just go, slow down, have fun. Like as a quick reminders to myself throughout to be like, you don't need to rush this.
Right.
You can always speed it up if you have to. Yeah. No one's ever had to, but like it's always faster than you think it is.
Yeah.
So making sure you're slowly paced is definitely important. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. How about a huge mistake people make? Or something that's difficult, like once you get into the editing bay.
BYOB shows.
Because people get too drunk.
Yes, I've had that happen before. We had like one very belligerent drunk guy that we had to cut around and then do a little bit of fancy editing for one of the albums to make it not, because then the crowd got quiet because there was this whole thing with this guy and like he had to be booted and then you have to like the person performing was like, fuck, I have to spend time now getting them back to the place they need to be, but not with material that I want to record.
Do people that you work with ever retell jokes? Like they mess it up and then they tell it again? They're like, hey, all right, we're going to redo that one.
I've never had anybody do the whole thing. Okay. But I've had, if people are like, I fucked up that word. Hold on, let me just do that line again one more time. Like, and I think it's like never a whole bit, but if you're like, I flubbed the way I wanted to say that, the audience is with you and they know it's
they'll laugh again.
Yeah. But especially like, I mean, I've recorded 2 albums and both times I did it in one shot. Two shows is ideal. Like 2 shows in one night, I think is ideal. You don't need a whole weekend. I think that becomes like, you start getting too worried and then you have to listen to so much audio to whittle it down and that's a nightmare.
Yeah.
But like, I'm also like, I don't really believe that stuff is truly burned the same way anymore as it used to be. I mean,
Mm,
if like a network or somebody is like paying you for that joke, then fine. But there's so many different places that people are listening to you from now at this point or seeing you that it's like, I don't know, not everybody that likes you is even going to have the algorithm hasn't even shown you that joke yet. So if you know, and we're always some bits are always kind of evolving over time. Like there's definitely bits that I recorded in my first album that like they aren't on the second one, but they might be on the third because I've definitely changed my point of view on some stuff or I've like written it longer in the future.
right.
So yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, I have a different question.
Yeah.
Number one comedy albums. It's like I book 500 comics a year. A
Yeah.
lot of them have this credit, number
Oh
one
yeah.
comedy album.
Yes.
Can you talk about that a little bit? Like, does it matter if you're number one for an hour? How do you get to be number one for 1 hour? Is there a hack or a trick?
Oh yeah, yeah, that's definitely. So nobody buys comedy albums, so it's pretty easy to get to number one. When you look at like the comedy charts, especially on iTunes, it's always like we have a joke on the label that like we're always trying to take Weird Al down a peg or two because he's always number one in comedy, and we're always like fucking Weird Al. That's like kind of our label bit is we've made him a villain, and he hasn't responded yet, but we are working on it.
Okay.
But when an album goes on pre-sale, which is like a thing that I do, we basically do a 10-day pre-sale ahead of the release date. All of your sales during that pre-sale period, they hit on the day that your album actually becomes available, which is the way that you're able to go up the charts.
Got it.
So yeah.
And what's it like 100 copies? Is that enough to
Oh,
be
30.
10?
30.
30? Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
If you can sell 30 albums on iTunes, you will easily be number one. Easily.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. It does
Well,
not it
can
does
you
not take
can you change the price at pre-sale? I remember seeing a book once that some author,
Mhm.
I got an email from an author and he was like, "Hey, you can buy my book for $1 right now. It's gonna be $30 in a week. You can get
Mm.
it for $1." Is that a thing or no?
Um, you can on Bandcamp. Uh, Amazon will charge whatever they want to, which is usually they will honestly usually just make your album. If most comedy albums are $9.99 on iTunes, they will
Okay.
make it $8.99 because they want to get the sale instead of iTunes.
Okay.
You can offer suggested prices. It's very annoying with
Okay.
those two companies because
Do,
they just have a monopoly on it.
does every online company report like in real time?
No, Bandcamp reports in real time. iTunes and basically everything else takes between 1 month and 3 months before they report. So
So how do they
you
so
won't
how do
know.
they yeah, do you know but you can see in the iTunes chart you're number one. How does that
Mhm.
work? That's real time, but the reporting
That's
isn't?
yeah, that's real time, but your back end does not. Like you don't get to
Okay,
see.
but it's
Yeah, yeah.
it's reporting to that
Mhm.
algorithm in real
Yes.
time. And
Hmm.
Amazon as well?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's no company where you're like, "Oh, we don't wanna sell here," because they're not gonna get the numbers for like
No, no.
okay,
They will get the numbers, they just won't share them with you for a few months later. But
yeah,
if you see where you end up on the chart, you can kind of have an idea. Like if you're number one, you're probably sold between like 25 and 40 albums is usually
okay,
kind of the gauge.
huh.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. That's
Yeah,
so
no, it's very interesting, I think.
all right, we're running out of time, or we're
Yeah.
actually over time, and your dog is hungry.
Oh,
Do you wanna talk about your comedy at all? Anything you wanna
yeah.
share?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, the label's only a few years old, but like I've been doing comedy for 16 years, tour all over the place. This is live. This is coming out like now then. I'm
Yeah.
gonna be in the
You're gonna be in Colorado in, like, 5 weeks because I
yeah,
almost booked a show, and I was gonna
yes.
email you today,
Oh
but
shit.
it moved to a week earlier.
Oh, okay, yeah,
So,
no worries.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll be out in Colorado doing some shows in May, but I this Thursday I'm gonna be in Sacramento. I have a show called Picture This that I take around the country, and it's comedians paired up with animators, and they draw your jokes during your set live. So it's like you working within a cartoon of your own bit. It's really really fun. So we're doing that in Sacramento on Thursday,
Do you get a
and then
local artist, or does the artist travel?
it depends. We try to get local artists if we can, but like if we're doing a Picture This show, then I usually am bringing one of the guys from LA that we use all the time, and we have like Pendleton Ward does it a lot here in LA, or this Creative Adventure Time. We have like a bunch of supervising directors from like BoJack Horseman and Big Mouth, and like it's the animation scene out here is like really cool, so they love doing it.
They're
But then
doing it physically, right?
yeah.
Not on a computer or a tablet.
Well, they do it on like a Photoshop, but it's which is connected to like a screen behind you,
So you can
it's
see it. Okay.
yeah, and they kind of interact with it too, which is pretty fun.
Huh.
But yeah, I tour that around a lot, and then I do my own stand up as well.
Is that a 90-minute show, like a traditional?
About 75. We try to keep it tight because we do
Okay.
that at more like alternative venues. We have to make sure we have like a screen and certain other
What do
stuff.
you think the perfect length of a comedy show is?
75.
Okay.
90 starts, I think, getting tight.
I'm hearing this a lot more,
Yeah.
shorter. And I'm thinking in like 10 years, it's going to be like 45. And then it's going to
Probably.
people's attention spans are just.
I know. I find like 75 is good because I want people to like be like, oh fuck, I want to see more of that. Like I think 90 people are like, I've seen enough comedy for a while, is kind of how it feels. Yeah, and then I'll be all over the Midwest like in a few weeks. Like I've got shows in, this is just me. I've got shows in Pittsburgh on April 24th. Why'd you zoom in? Erie, Pennsylvania, I'm headlining Flagship Comedy Festival on April 25th. April 26th, I'll be in Cincinnati at the Bombs Way Comedy Club. And then April 30th, I'll be in Morgantown, West Virginia. Great spot. Yeah, and then I'm on Brandazzle is my handle in most places, and then I'm also I have all my dates are on Bands in Town as well, and I put all my pictures of this stuff up on there too. So
nice.
And I have a podcast called Lady to Lady that a lot of guys listen to as well. We've been going for 13 years strong, and it's a great time.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Do you ever book men on that, or is it always?
Oh yeah. No.
Okay.
We have guys. Yeah.
We just the Vail Comedy Festival, which is Memorial Day weekend. Everybody get your passes. VailComedyFestival.com. It's the end of May 23rd through 25th this year. We have Lady Journey coming out. Katie Hannigan and Sarah Tolamash.
No, I don't know them.
Sounds kind of similar. I'm kind of profiling based on 2 words or 3 words, but
yeah,
kind of maybe in that same similar.
Yeah. Our show is like it's like the me, Babs Gray, and Tess Barker, and we have a 4th guest on every week, and it's just like 4 women riffing, and then we play like game with our guests, and we answer some advice questions and stuff like that. It's
nice.
It's fun. You don't get to hear 4 women, especially not in competition with each other in entertainment. Is kind of our thing. Like it's just like, it's for women like riffing and having fun, but not needing to like tear each other apart, which is the way that women are usually depicted in entertainment. Housewives.
Do you do video for that?
We've started to, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, starting to get into that.
All right. All right. Well, we're landing this plane every Monday. Always Booking Comedy. You can, if you like this episode, we got tons of past episodes, and stick around for a second, Brandie. We're going to say bye now to the live audience. Bye.